Welcome to the Groomer Next Door. You're listening to my mommy and daddy.
But now my main area of expertise is canines. Dogs, to the layperson.
I'm your co-host, Chris Green.
And I'm Sarah Green.
Have a fantastic week.
And remember, folks, life is short. Play with your pet.
Okay, gotta go at my bedtime.
And now our feature presentation.
My name is Doug. I have just met you, and I love you. My master made me this collar. He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk, squirrel.
Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the 2015 video podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me, as always, is the lovely and pleasant and delightful Sarah.
Hello.
Well, we'd like to introduce you to Rocko. That's the German Shepherd you're looking at in the actual bathtub. What do you want to tell us about Rocko?
Rocco's a special German Shepherd. He is actually a canine police unit. He is a drug-sniffing dog for Rolla, Missouri Police Department. And
it was really cool. I've always wanted to give him a bath. It's definitely on my bucket list of things to do. So I got a message this week asking, hey, is there any chance that you could squeeze him in? Well, we were really busy. But I was just, you know what, it's something I really wanted to do, and we were like, yeah, come on in the next day, which was a suicide move.
When the officer himself asks via message or even calling, you say yes. I mean, they do so much for us, and they help keep us safe as best to their abilities as possible. We need to give back when we can.
Yeah, you really do. You got to do as much as you can. And Rocko actually was very different than what I ever would have expected. Now, I've actually had some time where I've been able to play with him, at different times. But I was always under the impression that a police dog would have been serious and only would have related to the actual officer that it would have been assigned to, not to be this cool dog that I just had so much fun with.
Right. If you refer back to our actual podcast on episode
16,
we were able to actually interview. Now, remember, we're still real green at this point when we did the episode.
I apologize to how green we were.
And I honestly didn't know much about canine units. I thought there was only one type. And I thought the ones that actually tracked down humans were the same one that did the drugs.
Yeah, I did too.
Sniffing the drugs out. And it's not. Rocko is the one that goes out and assists Officer Gray in finding paraphernalia wherever they're needed.
Right.
And then Chaos is the other one that, hunts down people and you stay away from.
And if you're new to this, and this is the first one that you've ever watched, what I'm doing right now is this is a degreaser that I'm putting on Rocko. It just kind of, takes all the nasty grease that's on him off of him, kind of cleans him up, makes him nice and fluffy. It just really helps with the bath. It takes a lot more time, as you can tell. It's not just, let's just throw some, soap and water on you and that's it. It takes time, but it's worth it. Every dog deserves this kind of pampering. It doesn't matter if you're a police dog or you're just a house dog. You deserve this when you go into the grooming. So that's what this is about.
Right, and, degreasing shouldn't happen all the time. That's one thing we want to make very clear, is that there's some naysayers out there about using degreaser. This doesn't happen every day, every week, every month. This is done with a big gap in between each time the degreaser is being used. Now, Rocko doesn't come in very often to get groomed. Officer Gray said that this is Rocko's only second or third time being actually groomed. So, we don't want to use... Oh, there's a... I didn't know you caught me in there.
I didn't know I caught you out of there. This camera has such a wide shot that unless I actually reduce the actual size,
Okay.
It's called fisheye is how you film under. Fisheye, pretty much, you can kind of, it has such a wide look to it. I can catch everything. The peripherals on it is just ridiculous.
So the degreasing is actually very important. The degreaser makes sure that any oils that are super thick are released, and after that you're using our proportioner system to help get the degreaser pushed in further, lift the grease, and then the shampoo comes in again and nourishes the skin a lot better than to wash the dog without a degreaser, and those shampoos working twice as hard to get the grease off and nourish the skin.
Right.
This way, grease is off, then the shampoo comes around and works better.
Yeah, it actually works harder. They both actually work together. Instead of just a regular shampoo that's going in, this actually works with your degreaser, and it actually is... It's at least tag teaming the cause. And Rocko is running around all over the place. I'm pretty sure because of being winter and we have had snow and there's mud and stuff. I'm pretty sure he has gone through that as well. So you got to get all into the nooks and crannies, get in between those toes, get into all these little places just so that you know that you're getting all the dirt out. And this is one of those explicit type of dogs that you actually have to be a little bit more detailed in, because you know that this dog is outside every day working in all kinds of conditions, opposed to your regular dog that's actually at home, goes out to go to the bathroom and goes back inside. This dog is out and running around doing a lot of different things, so you got to make sure he's even more detailed than even a regular house dog.
Right. And German Shepherds in general, they always shed. I don't care what time of the year it is, Shepherds shed. It's just like Akitas. They just double-coated dogs. They constantly shed.
Yeah.
So
he does not like his paws touched, though, and you'll see that throughout the whole thing. But he was so awesome the whole time. And right now I'm brushing. Making sure I'm brushing in everything, brushing out any kind of loose hair that's wanting to fly off.
Well, yeah, this is an important part of the de-shed process.
Nope, not there yet.
Well, no, it is.
Well,
this is part of the de-shed process.
We were going to go into that in a little bit.
But before the baiting, or before you, or while the suds are there, it's important to send the brush through, since he will be getting a de-shed solution after you do the washing part. But this also helps to really let loose some of the hair. If you can tell, there is already a ton of hair in the other side of that brush. It's a two-sided brush.
Yeah.
So it is super important to do the slickering to help loosen up the dirt debris, get some of the excess hair off. So once again, when you get to the point where you do the de-shed, it can get down where it needs to be.
Yep. And this is not something that is just a quick process, as you can tell. I mean, for all of you who are actually, settling in to watch this movie, this episode video podcast that we're doing, I know a lot of people have actually said they prefer short videos, even though our Great Pyrenees, which is our first one of the year that we did, has tracked the most views of anybody, which that was the one people were like, no, we really don't like our video podcasts. This one's going to go about an hour. So if you have anything to do or anything like that, let me give you guys that fair warning. This is about an hour video. And I just want you guys to, I want everybody to have a full detail of what goes in for a German Shepherd. And that way, if you do have a German Shepherd or you're a German Shepherd enthusiast, you're looking to adopt a German Shepherd, you're going to get a full idea of what the grooming process has. A lot of people, I've heard this occasionally online and different places that people are saying it's because of economy, they're actually only able to wash their dogs at home. And but they're finding that it's more expensive to do it at home, and there's so much more to be done.
Yeah, when you look at the cost per gallon of water that you're charged, I know a lot of people go through this when they're trying to fill a pool or own a pool, is that you pay for every single gallon used, and to do it proper, to wash a dog properly, to make sure you get down deep, you need a detachable shower head nozzle that you can put right up to the skin, and you got to keep going over it and over it and over it just to get the regular shampoo out. I'm not talking about the degreaser or the de-shed solution, but it can cost a little bit more.
It does. It costs more, and with shampoo itself, I mean, roughly we're about 5 gallons shampoo, 2 gallons of de-shed altogether for this exact bath.
And then who knows for the rinse.
And then rinse is going to be more. Plus, you got to think about drying process, which we'll obviously get into. Oh my gosh, I walked away from this one soaked. I had to change my smock. I was soaked. You guys all looked at me and went, "Haha, you're wet." Yeah, I was.
I laugh because I've been there many years. I remember being at my original salon, and we didn't have a nifty tub like this for big dogs.
Yeah.
We had to wash them on the floor where there was a grate that the water drained out to. And people wear galoshes. I mean, it was horrible. We're going through shoes left and right because they're always soaking wet. And our smocks dry a little bit quicker. Chris likes the fabric soft.
I do like the fabric. You like more of a what material would you call yours?
I don't know. It's really super sheer and it dries quickly.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna call it silky. It has that silky feeling, but it's not silk.
Well, the silk is on the sleeves, but the actual main part that takes forever to dry would be the body part, and it's this parachute kind of parachute pants, running joggers pants. It's that kind of material, which you'll learn would be better than cloth once you start shaving down dogs and the hair's
I've had it with certain dogs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dying here. But I like my kind of cartoony type of fabric. It just brings out my personality more. I might just use those for bath and a different one for a groom from now on. I don't know.
That's a lot of changing.
I'm usually wet a lot. So anyway, as you can tell, again, brushing. We're gonna get to the rinsing of the shampoo now. The hard part about doing a de-shed is there's so much work to it. You look at just the typical bath. You've seen what I've gone through and just given a bath. You've seen how much of our degreaser I use for a big dog, making sure that they're fully submersed in it, I guess is the word I was looking for. Saturated. That's the word. Thank you. So you want to make sure you have all of these different aspects down. And if you notice, I do this with all of our big dogs. I want to make sure that we give them as much as possible. The whole process is, if you're going to bring your dog into a groomer, you should actually know that you're getting your money's worth as well. That's a very big selling point to us. Both Sarah and I, we are always saying we want to make sure that when people bring their dog in, we're giving them everything that their money is worth. And instead of just cutting cost or cutting corners so that it's easier on us, you want to make sure that these dogs leave with the best quality you can possibly give them. And
right, because people, you look at a dog that is $40 to get groomed. That's several hours of work that you have to work in order to pay for that. And people work hard for their money. I work hard for my money. I don't want people skipping out on me.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. When you're able to have as much control over a situation as we do with ours, it's very important. And I was absolutely in seventh heaven while I was doing this the whole time. So it kind of was one of those perfect moments. Now, I pretty much have grabbed the brass ring. Being able to do Rocko, I pretty much can never actually do anything better than this. So I'm pretty much done now. I said that after the day was over. I'm like, well, that's it. I might as well just quit now. I mean, I'm not going to have a better moment, I guess. But it
was fun when you were setting up the D-shed solution, getting that all mixed out properly and shooken up and ready for the proportioner. Rocko was in the groom room with Craig and I. And what we found out while he was doing his training is that he loves to have a tennis ball in his mouth. It helps soothe him, kind of like a child to their favorite blanket or their teddy bear. It helps.
Soaked. Man, you almost feel like you're getting wet just by watching this video.
So we were in there with the tennis ball. Craig and I would throw it up in the air, and he would catch it, and he would bring it right to us, or he'll flick it with his head. He'll throw his head up and then let go of it, so he's like throwing it at us.
He was better than a soccer player, I swear.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we were definitely having fun there before Chris even got started on the bath.
And then, of course, before I even got him in the bath, I saw what you guys were doing. I'm like, no, I'm not just going to the bath. I got to play too. It was a lot of fun.
Look at that face.
Oh, I know. I know.
That face.
He is just gorgeous. He's gorgeous. He's so much fun. He's got such a great personality. You know, it was business for me right now, but you don't understand how much I just wanted to say, you know what, to heck with the bath, let's play.
That was pretty much how it was for the brushing, though.
Yeah.
The end result, brushing and nails, it was pretty much just fun.
Yeah.
And that was the only way I could get him to stay still, the way you could get him to stay still long enough is one person pet his head and really get into playing while the other one hurries up and brushes certain spots that need it really badly and keep brushing until it slows down, because you can never... I've never seen where you can finish and brush a dog to the point where there's no more hair falling off.
Yeah, that's definitely the truth.
Or at least a double-coated dog that releases their fur.
Right. He wasn't as vocal. He'll get vocal later on. He was I think he was just completely enjoying himself at this point. You kind of could tell he didn't really move much. At the beginning he did. He was a little bit like, okay, I don't know what this is all about. I don't know how I feel about this. But he, you know, and as I'm going through all this process, all I keep thinking is, I got to make sure I rinse every ounce of shampoo out. Mm-hmm. You know, with a double-coated dog like this, your biggest concern is you want to make sure you get all of the shampoo, or else what happens?
The dog's skin gets tore up. If you don't rinse properly and you don't have the proper equipment to get your pup rinsed out well, it's like anybody human. You don't rinse out all your shampoo, you don't rinse out all your conditioner, your head's going to itch.
Yep.
But the difference is that they don't know how to stop itching. They don't say, oh, I got to stop, or I'm going to screw up my scalp.
Yep.
No, they're going to itch until it's done. And you get dogs with hot spots that way. You get dogs with infections that way. So it's super important to make sure your dog gets rinsed out as best as possible. I was taught to do a squeak test. Oh.
Now we're actually moving, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. This is now moving into applying our D-shed. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, why are we back to the washing? You already did the shampoo. This is the D-shed solution. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm sorry, you were saying.
Well, it's a squeak test, meaning that you can run your fingers through the hair without any kind of slick spots. And then once you get to the point where you don't have any slick spots, rinse one more time. So this, like, oh, you were gonna
I'm agreeing with you.
All right, now with the D-shed solution, it is very, very expensive D-shed solution. So if you can find another D-shed solution for home, I would suggest that. This stuff runs about $45 a gallon. And then we dilute that gallon, so it's not $45 just on this dog.
Yeah, I know.
$80 or $90 for this dog because you use 2 gallons. But what this stuff does, it helps get down to the very tip and a very base of the hair, and it will help condition the hair, condition the follicles, and with this proportioner system, helps push out the dead hair or the hair that's about ready to fall out anyways. Right.
And it's really, really fun to actually wash it out.
Oh, this stuff takes forever.
Oh my gosh. It's and you know, as Sarah was saying, the slick test. And I also, you know what else I do, and I'm surprised about this. I take Carol's thought process as well. I use both. The Slick and Carol's, if she sees soap, that too.
Bubbles?
Yep, the bubbles and the Slick. So I do a visual and a touch. That's my method to it. Just because I'm always concerned. I don't want to leave any kind of residue.
That is.
And then you want to make sure whatever at that little bottom that won't actually come out, you want to make sure you actually get that out.
Here you go, another slickering
Yep.
moment where you're slickering through and getting anything else out that you can possibly get through this process.
Yeah.
So when it comes to de-shed solutions or de-shedding a dog in our salon, we get the hair out while they're being in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
Get hair out while the blow dryer does the work too.
Hey, there goes a big bunch.
And then we do it again in the finish room when we do the finishing brush.
Yeah.
So that is 3 times the amount of hair versus people who wash, rinse, put the dog in under the dryer, and then brush at the end. And they only get one real good brushing.
Yeah.
It actually takes more time doing that way.
It does.
And then the dog's not as fluffy.
He did not like turning that way. I had to pick him up each time. He did not like going to that side. Dogs actually, here's a funny thing, and you've been doing this way longer than me, so you can relate to this. One thing that I always find funny is I would have to keep setting up. It was so funny because I was always afraid I'd have water on my camera. But one thing that you'll notice with some dogs don't like to face in certain directions.
Yes.
and it can be challenging. Oh my gosh. And it's the same way from drying or washing to drying. It's the same thing. They don't want to face a certain direction.
And then some dogs only want to face the door.
Yes.
I try to get dogs interested to look outside and out of the window. That's why my table is actually positioned up against the wall where I can move the dog from looking at the wall or looking at the front door or looking at the window. Because they get interested because there's always some kind of critter running around outside. So I can keep their attention that way. But there are dogs who do not like one side messed with more than the other.
Yep.
I've noticed it's always their left front side. They don't want their left front leg touched. And so you obviously go around what they want because you can't force them, and by forcing can really hurt them. So you gotta coerce them.
Well, Rocko, he didn't like facing the wall. I think it was just because all you're doing is looking at a wall, opposed to looking at the kennels and the door and everything else. So it was, but as you can tell, once you get him there, he was like, oh, okay. If he was having any kind of duress from being there, he would have been, bucking and trying to get out of there as much as possible. But, he was just like, oh, man, the wall again? We went this way. And in my process, when I'm doing this, you're alone in the room. There's a lot of different audible sounds that are going on. So I'm always listening to something. But as I'm listening to either music or other podcasts, I'm thinking, I wonder what this dog is thinking. I bet you the dog is saying to itself, hey, dude, you just did this already. You already washed me. And then you rinsed me. Why are we doing it again? Come on, man. So it's always a process, especially with a D-shed. I'm always thinking that. It's like, they must be saying, this human is an idiot with no memory. He already did this. He's given me a second shampooing.
Deja vu?
Yeah. So, and I'm thinking with Rocko, being as intelligent as he is, I'm thinking he's probably really thinking I'm one of these dumb humans. Boy, this guy, I wish I lived at his house. He would feed me like 4 different times thinking it was the first time. This process of a dog's,
Dork.
Yeah, right? It's this dog, inner monologue by a dog I'm coming up with. And the whole time, and he's not the first. Trust me, I do it quite a lot during the week. But that was always in my process through that. Especially right about this point, I'm going, I bet you he thinks I'm just an imbecile doing the same thing over.
Hey, my pitcher's on the floor.
Pitcher? Oh, the green one? Oh, it is. I didn't even notice that. Hey, I'm working, okay?
On the floor is a like a water pitcher where I mix my shampoos together and then pour it into our proportioner system and let it mix itself in anywhere between 7 to 10, 15 gallons of water together. No, it goes up to 12.
Yeah, 12.
And I'm like, why is that on the floor?
You know what? This is where my mindset is. The dog is in the tub, and only thing I'm focused on is the dog.
Good job.
You don't have...
Good answer. Very good answer.
I have tunnel vision when I'm working with the dogs. They're the only thing I'm paying attention to. And that's where audible sounds, that's why I'm such a big fan of podcasts, is because I have something going on, and most likely it's some show that's going on. And I'm listening to that show, and it's just somebody talking just like you're listening to us talk. And I'm listening to them processing what they're saying, and I'm on autopilot while I'm doing this. But at the whole time, I know what's going on.
Well, this is such a second nature kind of thing.
It
where
is.
You already know. I mean, there's times where I'm washing, and I'm like, I'm done already?
I know, right? I'm rinsing? What happened? I did do everything correct, right?
And I go back over, double checking my work, and sure enough, I already did it. It's just autopilot click.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I speak English.
For only a couple years now. Autopilot clicks in, and you just go. You know you got to get it done, so you get it done. The dogs don't care for water as much as what Rocko is tolerating, so sometimes you just got to get it done. No messing around. And there's dogs that just love it.
Oh, yeah. Well, at times you'll notice, even with Rocko, he kind of dims his eyes down a little bit, where he's kind of closing his eyes. He was relaxed, and that's really the whole thing, is you want to make sure that they're comfortable. They can't just look over at you and say, hey, dude, I don't like that.
I used to have a Saint Bernard that I wish I can get a hold of. I groomed her over at Carol's, but out of respect for Carol, I didn't call my customers when I left. That was Carol's client list, and yeah, I helped build it up, but it was just a respect thing that I had. I do have the utmost respect for most everybody. So, Allie, big, huge German Shepherd. Saint Bernard.
I was like, wait, what? Did we just go to somewhere else completely
looking
different?
At
a Saint Bernard. Wow. It's just not a good day to be in front of a microphone.
I'm reeling from a headache, too.
Yep.
So, anywho.
We have worked 6 days, okay? You have that, too.
Saint Bernard is passed out, standing up. Her head's on the proportioner system, because we have the same one as Carol's. And her head is right on there, passed out. And all of a sudden, she just kind of dips down where she sits and tries to lay down, because she was asleep while doing this.
Wow. I've had them almost asleep. They've almost gone to sleep, and it's really funny. You'll actually start to hear them breathing differently, where you know that they're in almost that sleep pattern.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so funny. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wait, what? And it's obviously nice, warm water that's going on. It's not cold. It's not hot. So that's a big thing. That nice warm water, it's a cold day. That feels good. Even though you have, this nice jacket on, it's nice feeling on the body.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy my shower, so I can only imagine if you're a dog and you don't have a shower every day.
I'm glad that you enjoy your showers.
Yes, thank you.
Water is not wasted on you.
No. Water is not wasted on me. But this was just one of those absolute moments. We had a video this week that was planned already. It was pre-shot. Pre-edited too. It was ready to go, and I was just like, nope. This week we had Rocko, and this week our actual movie for this week got bumped to next week. It's like, I really want to put this video out there. Everybody should enjoy this one, because I enjoyed doing it, and I'm actually enjoying doing playback, watching this as well.
We have a lady come in. Her name's Judy, and she has 4 German Shepherds that she takes to shows.
Yes.
And when it's time for them to get ready for a show, and she brings them into us, it's like, oh my gosh, so much work, because it's 2 of them a day. Yep. Before their show, because you want them to make sure they're at their freshest peak for when they go into that show ring.
This is when now I hope you guys are all aware of the movie Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. This is when I feel like Jeff Daniels, when the opening part of the movie, when he was actually a dog groomer, and bringing the dogs to the actual grooming salon, or not grooming salon, he's bringing from the grooming salon to the dog show. And he stops, gives them hot dogs, gets to the actual show, and says, "Oh, I stopped and fed them, and they had mustard and ketchup all over them." He's like, "Well, maybe you want to take a brush to them?" That's always the person I think of when I'm doing this.
Ugh, I don't like that movie.
I love that movie.
That movie's retarded.
And I have the new one, which I'm dying to watch.
And I am purposely trying to do everything I can so we don't have to watch it.
Hey, if I watch your Twilight, you're watching this.
Hey.
No, don't ever say I enjoyed
Jacob.
it. Oh, gosh. Team Gag Me. This is when Helen Keller would have loved a movie. And for all of our Twilight fans who are like, hey, I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm a guy, and
Don't worry, I make him watch it.
She does. Oh, it's awful. We can do a Twilight review at another time. So, anyway, as you can tell, we are still washing Rocko. We are still washing out all the solution.
It's only 31 minutes into it.
Almost, actually, almost. And there's parts where I have to cut, and I kind of cut this movie a little bit so that I would take out some of the time, because man, some things you have to switch out your solution. You have to do a bunch of different things in between. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try to cut this movie a little bit so you guys are not stuck. And as you can tell, I have a little water spot on my camera. If you can see it, if not, I can, but. You can't see it? No?
Oh, at the top.
Yeah, there's one there, and there's one bubble on the left side. Yeah, it's there.
Oh.
It's there, but...
Mr. Perfection.
And see, this is where I'm looking for the little suds and the feeling. You see where it's actually, you'll start to see little white bubbles pop up. Those are things that I'm looking for right about now.
My bubbles.
My bubbles. So, and I'm noticing on his back it's not there. I'm noticing different spots aren't there. So this is very important right now. This is when your bath is starting to come to a conclusion, and you want to make sure, okay, I'm about to turn off the actual water. I have to make sure every ounce of him is actually just wet, not soapy. And you don't put solution on their heads.
No.
So
there might be some groomers out there who do. But I don't think it's smart since it takes so long to rinse out, and their eyes are there. That's
my thought. It's look at where his head is. I don't even go anything further than the Aussie put. I'll go up the back, right to that part, right to the part below it. That's where I stop, because any kind of splash that could go, anything that could go wrong, I want to make sure. I don't really like that idea. So. That's our take. I mean, this is my take on it. I won't speak for yours, but
and another thing too. This is just one of many different types of de-shedding processes.
Yes.
I know there's a prehistoric way where you just lather the dog up with a ton of conditioner, let him sit soaking wet for 15 minutes so all the water drips off, and the conditioner's still left there.
I like that.
And then what they do is they take a blow dryer and...
Oh, we're moving on to drying.
Now we are, yeah. But they take the blow dryer, like what we're doing here, to get them all dried up.
I want to point this out. As you can tell, I've made a point that there's a lead on him, and there's two kinds of leads, because a lot of dogs don't like dryers, and they'll sometimes try to break away. I like to make sure that they're actual double lead. The blue, purpley one... It's actually a slip lead. It's not really around his neck. As you can tell, there's a lot of give. But as you can tell, he wasn't aware of what a dryer was, so he didn't like that at the beginning. That's why the second one's always there. A big dog, I like to put the two.
You don't want to have a loose dog running through the salon. But
I do know that a lot of people don't do that second precaution, I don't think. I'm just saying this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to speak for anybody. I'm just speaking for myself. But go on, you were saying, I'm sorry, I just wanted to point that out.
When they have this conditioner on the body that is pretty much almost dry but still tacky because the dog's been sitting in the tub for 15 minutes drip drying, cold by this point, and then they take the blow dryer like this, and instead of going nice and slow movements, they go real fast. Real fast. I'm talking about faster than they would if they were normally drying. So they're going just 90 miles an hour with this blow dryer, hair's flying everywhere. And then they flip the dog around and do the same thing, and then they rinse. And then they go through the drying process again. So that's one way that's really prehistoric that I do not care for.
I like playing with him. What? He was so cool. And it, again, some of you have never actually seen some of our videos before. As you can tell, he's got a hood on. The hoodie is on there so that it actually will dry his head. But also, the sound of the actual high-velocity dryer can be a little bit much. He has sensitive hearing, just like every dog out there. So you just want to actually protect their hearing. Most dogs will keep it on for a short amount of time, but then they get tired of it being on and they force it off. They'll paw at it. They pull it off.
It's like a sock, or not sock material. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it is a sock.
It's kind of like a sock material that is made out of a towel in a sense. It's real stretchy, real elastic. That one I have put on as big as a 170-pound or 160-pound Newfie.
Yep.
So this thing goes big.
We were supposed to have Zega. Zega had to reschedule. I don't know when that's coming up. I have a feeling.
Don't get me started on that. Zega's going to be matted head to toe.
It's not the fact that she's going to be matted. She's going to, with all the weather we've been having in the Midwest, she's going to definitely be a little dirty too.
Oh, she's going to be stinky. She's going to be just mat-filled. Ugh. I don't even think about that.
Yeah, that and luckily I know that's not coming up this week, but
no, it's coming up next week. She's missed her appointment by 3 weeks. Almost the entire groom. She comes in every 4.
Typically, a big dog. Now, if you're curious, I don't know if you are, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Typically, a big dog, even like Rocko here. A typical podcast that I listen to is roughly between 60 to about 75 minutes. Kind of what ours are, typically our runtime on our audio podcast, not our video podcast. But I usually will listen to one from beginning to end podcast for a big dog like Zega. Now, Rocko actually had, I think, 10 minutes left, maybe less, on a full podcast. So, that's kind of what it is. You take your time. You don't go fast. You could. Some places would say just put them in a kennel and let them dry in there. I don't believe in that. As you can tell, I'm putting my hand up because I don't want the high velocity dryer to blow in his face. But
it's blowing in yours. You can tell there's a hair right there that was attached to your camera.
There's going to be a few of those.
Oh, wow, you see the hair just flying everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to mention that. You will start to see at this point.
I didn't think the camera was going to pick up all that hair flying.
We're at high quality right now.
Well, I understand, but still.
We're 1080 HP. So, yeah.
Next time it's snowing, take your GoPro out. I would love to have
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
An action picture of snowing.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that. Yeah, we actually film, if you didn't figure this out already, we are actually recording on a GoPro. It's a 3+ Silver Edition. So the only thing better right now is a 4. And, well, I don't really see why we need a 4 right now. I think this one was just perfect. We run off of a very high quality. Now to get this thing on YouTube is a beast. This video, I will surmise this is going to take about 5 hours to upload because of the lane.
That's running right into my game time.
No, I'll actually process this early in the day, so it should finish.
Okay, because if I have an hour lagging, that's one thing. But the entire time of lagging, that's not fun to play
what
Call
I do
of
is
Duty
what
with
I
laggy
what I do
internet.
is after I bring Claire home from school, that's when I actually will process this.
Hey, I like that idea.
See, folks, one thing, I was talking to another podcaster, real successful podcaster, and we were talking about, our process of all that we're doing. And he always said, I should be telling you guys just what goes into the process of putting this up there. But I think you can tell just by the intro and everything else. We make all of our own stuff. We do everything. So it's a lot of work. One thing I liked about Rocko is he decided when he was ready for me to actually, when he wanted to turn, he turned on his own, which was kind of funny. I was like, okay, I'll allow that. And as you can still see, there's still hair that's shooting up at me. I had for lunch that day Rocko hair. It was.
It gets in every nook
It was
and cranny.
everywhere, and you can look at right there. You can see it really starting to blow right there at that point. It's just coming off. I don't know if it was the hair flying, but now he starts to bark. And let me tell you, folks, when a German Shepherd barks, they bark.
Look at all the hair attached to your...
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was massive. It was in my face. It was in my hair.
Oh, and one thing, when Rocko barks...
Oh my gosh, yes, I was going to mention this.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When he barks, it is so scary. It is very intimidating.
Yep.
Most dogs, they just bark, but he lifts his lips and projects his teeth
You'll
out.
see it at some point. I know he does it in my face a couple times, and I know he's not going to bite. I know he's not going to do that, and I have trust in him.
Look at all the hair
Oh, I
everywhere.
know. I have trust in him, and I know he's not going to do anything. But man, he would bark, and I have these earbuds in with my earphones that I'm using at this point, and I have, like I said, audible sound going. And when he does this bark like he's doing right now, when he does that bark, it just penetrates right through. It's awesome.
He's so just massive, and it's scary, especially when we're throwing the ball around. It's like Jaws.
Yes.
It's like a shark. You know how the shark pushes his teeth out first? Oh my gosh, it is intimidating. I'm like, ooh.
I would not want to be on the bad side.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the business end of those teeth.
No. But, he's right there. He doesn't, he'll start barking more when it comes to legs. I don't want to, I'm not going to leave his legs, wet so that he lays in the kennel and let that dry that way, because that's just a nightmare.
I'm glad we moved our laundry basket.
Yes.
That is just a bad place for it.
It really was. I found that out the hard way, but that's...
That we'll save for the podcast.
Yeah, we'll save that one for the podcast. So if you've actually listened to this week's episode 68 podcast, I'll tell that story. But yeah, he's I honestly can't thank his partner enough for bringing him in.
Right. I mean, there's other places to go to get him spruced up. I mean, they could have done it themselves.
Yeah.
But...
Well, he normally does. He normally gives them a bath himself, I think.
Yes, and every once in a while we'll treat him, but it's an honor.
Oh, trust me. When I say it was an honor, it was an honor. There's no way around it. You can start to see the hair hitting the wall behind him. I was cleaning up his hair for a couple days. It was everywhere.
I don't care how much you scrub.
No.
How much you're a hair Nazi and want to pick up every last bed of hair in the entire area, you're still going to find more.
Yeah, you do. You do. I mean, what was this? Tuesday, Wednesday?
And we're still picking
and
it up.
by Friday, I was still doing Saturday. I even found some on Saturday. But, gorgeous dog. Man, just awesome. I mean, I've said it a million times. I think I'm just absolutely in love with this dog. I want a German Shepherd. That's my next dog.
I want a Roddy.
He's very lickable. He was licking me a lot, and I was really not expecting that.
He was not licking you. He was tenderizing you.
That might have been it.
Tenderizing.
I never expected. There's that bark. Obviously, I've taken the audio out. You can see the mouth wanting to bark, but my hand was close, so it was kind of close to the idea. I was like, oh, I won't do that, but. He was
well trained, well behaved.
Oh boy, just such a cool dog, and could turn on the playfulness so quickly.
And at the same time, I do not want to be on that business end of that nose.
No. And of course, as you can tell, I'm blow drying his rump area. When they sit, especially in a kennel, if they're sitting, that could just retain all that water, and even just a little bit that's there can just become an issue. So
well, especially around the groin area. Especially in females, but it does happen in males too. If that stays wet for too long, you have a high risk of yeast infections setting in or any kind of skin infection setting in, and that is not a fun thing to deal with.
With the males, wouldn't you have chafing?
Well, I mean, the males they can get infections. They can get wiener infections from that. I don't know how else to say it.
Oh, you said wiener.
They can get infection. That's where the green goo starts coming out.
Oh.
It gets nasty. So
Wasabi?
Ugh. So
I want to be called Wasabi from now on.
No. No.
Oh.
But females, it's especially important to make sure when you're washing, you get it rinsed off properly and thoroughly, and then make sure that area stays dry. Now, if they're a little sensitive
Not
with that
happy
area,
with that front legs.
If they get a little sensitive in getting the groin area dried, use a bunch of towels to kind of damp them dry or pat them dry. Don't rub. But
He was about to sit on me.
yeah, you can tell he was like, "I'm done, dude."
Yeah, he was ready to go. I mean, I was doing the best I could to get him through. I didn't want to rush him because, he wasn't at the beginning, obviously, understanding the drying process with this force dryer. But, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'll pick up the pace a little bit, but only because I don't want to stress out a dog. I don't want to overexert. Yeah, but it's like at this point, I'm like, where's that tennis ball? I could totally play with him. Of course, that's my process. And the best part about filming this that day, I didn't have my playback screen.
Oh yeah, all you had was a little backpack.
I had my backpack, but he's licking me. Oh, I love that dog so much. But now, as you can tell, normally I don't go that fast on any dog, but I knew he was wanting to go, so it's like, okay, I'll move a little faster for you, and I'm petting him, and
his tolerance is getting smaller.
you can tell.
And smaller.
Yeah, this is a good example, folks. This is when you know a dog's tolerance is there, and I can't have he would normally tell me which side he wanted to face, and obviously, like we were talking about in the bathtub, he didn't like facing this direction because this is facing towards the wall. He didn't like going this way, so it's like if you actually move, I gotta turn you back around this way. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get you done. I'm gonna hurry up. But yeah, it was one of those moments. I will pretty much always. Oh, I was saying with the whole playback, I didn't know if the actual camera was pointed in the right direction. I was guessing this day, so luckily,
yeah, it's such an important actual video. You're guessing.
I know, I was guessing, and trust me, I guess a great deal. So I had no way of actually showing playback. As you can tell, I was petting his head right there, kind of trying
the
to
hair flying everywhere.
Oh
my gosh,
it was everywhere. Petting his face while I was doing his back legs, because it seemed like legs, that was the challenge for us. Just, he did not like that kind of force on there.
But it's so important to use the force dryer, to use this high velocity
well, especially for a D-shed.
Yeah, it's just in general super important. And, we can't just put them in, where those black kennel dryers are and just let them dry that way. They don't get the same straightness of the hair. They don't get the same fluffiness.
Yeah, the
that
fluff.
Heat,
the fluff is what I rely on the fluff. Mm-hmm. When a customer
and I
comes
need
in,
it when I groom them because I need them fluffed up.
And when a customer comes in and they pick up their dog and they say, "My gosh, my dog feels so soft." That's what this is all about. It's the time, it's the effort, it's A to Z to get a dog to look and feel the way they do. It's all this. And look, it's not easy. It's not something that you just go, "Oh, I can do this in 5 minutes. No big deal." No, you play with my guitar. No.
Sydney's in here complaining.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about Sydney on the podcast briefly, but yeah, this was. I'm trying to think of other information to actually share with you guys. If you guys have not heard episode 16, like Sarah said, it was different back then. We would actually just do a raw cut post. That was before I actually knew how to do. It's so adorable. It's before I knew how to do a lot of edits and different sounds and make it sound more quality. So I do apologize to all of you who actually listen to it and go, "Wow, this doesn't sound like Chris and Sarah." It was a year ago. We were just starting.
Very green.
Yeah, and but every podcast, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're a celebrity or whatever. Every one of their early podcasts always sound really rough. It's just, it's part of the learning process. This is not an easy thing to do. Your dog is going to knock the mic over.
Sydney.
So let me kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on. So Sydney's in here. Sarah's playing with the dog. I have a dog on the screen. Oh, there's that barking. That was right by my ear. I think I went deaf for a second there. And I think he's probably almost barking right about now. But, you know, those front inner legs, same thing. You want to make sure. That's a spot that
the
I'm
armpits.
always... Yes.
You get a lot of yeast infection in the armpits if they're not dried out properly. Or if they stay wet for too long.
He's barking. He's like, I'm ready to go. This is the front legs. I hate this. And I'm trying to get in between the actual paws as well. You know, it's you know, I understand he's not used to it, but it's like, I got to get this done, buddy. I promise. It'll be done in a second. I'm actually moving at a much faster rate than I like to. But this dog. Here we're playing with the dog and recording a show at the same time. How are we supposed to...
Look at that part. It's, oh my gosh. It's quite intimidating.
It is. Even on screen, I'm going, don't bite me. Even though I know how the outcome is on this. Just don't bite me. Yeah. And I got a spot that he liked. I got one of his little scratchy spots, obviously.
He did enjoy belly rubs.
Oh, yes.
He enjoyed his tennis ball.
Yes.
He enjoyed making us work hard to get him brushed.
Yes. But well worth it. What a fun day. It was a great deal of fun. And, you know, there's in this kind of work, you have different dogs that are just amazing. You know, there's no doubt about that. But wow, that's right. He bumped me in the head. I forgot about that. Maybe that was a concussion I took. All right, so moving on to our little brown dryer with no nozzle. There's a purpose for this.
The little dryer who could.
The little dryer who could. Reason why I use this dryer, I use it towards the head because it actually will dry you without hot air, without that hot penetrating air.
Well, what's great about our dryers is that the only way it heats up is through the actual motors.
Right.
There's no heating mechanism in it that makes it hot. I've used those before in the past, and I shipped them right back to the dealer saying, you know what, I do not like these. These are horrible.
And this
Bad
has been
things
off.
can happen.
This has been off the whole time, so it's just drying. It's not heat drying. But I like to use this one on the head. One, it's not abrasive, where, you know, the high velocity will just absolutely take the skin right off of your face. And like I said, you know, if this is the first video you've seen, I have other videos. There's 3 other ones, and they show a little bit in depth, but...
Oh, and there goes Bella Gardner, or Bella,
Yep,
and Craig, our extras.
What are you doing with them? Yeah. All of a sudden he goes absolutely crazy.
It's like work kicked in.
Yeah, right? Crazy person. Oh, the hair fell off of that. There was hair everywhere. As we've been saying, it's all over the place. It's raining hair at this point. But I'm trying to get his face to make sure I actually dry his face. So it's not abrasive, not rough in his face. He didn't really want it too much. You know, I do the best I was doing the best I could with it, without pushing him too far. But at this point, he's kind of going, you know, I'm ready to go. I want to go. Let's go have some fun. Let's go play with that tennis ball. And then at this point, I'm probably going through the same.
What's she tearing up?
Claire's beanie. Let go. Let go. What? That's her beanie, not yours. And she loves that beanie.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't replace that beanie.
That dog was tearing up.
Stop it.
Oh, where's her toy?
Oh, it's in the car.
Sid, where's your... Okay.
This dog.
Anywho.
We are filmed in front of a live studio audience, if we haven't mentioned that before.
Now, we only have about 4 minutes until the video's over, so I would like to talk about something that I didn't really discuss with you.
Well, we have final thoughts as well coming up.
Well, yeah.
I can always... I remember I
You can extend that.
Of course.
Oh, okay. Forget it.
There you go. All right. As I've said, I had so much fun. I've said this a million times. But you go ahead. Tell us what you want to say.
Well, I don't know how long it's going to take me. That's why I was...
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. It could take you 10 minutes. It doesn't matter.
So when Officer Gray picked up Rocko from the salon, I explained to him what we did for the full-on de-shed. And he goes, oh man, I remember back when he was in his training and there was a grooming salon attached to the academy. They had those big dryers that just blew off all the hair.
Wait, let me stop you. Is this something that I probably should have known at the beginning of the groom?
No.
Oh, okay, because you do that a lot.
I know. Yeah. And God, he's got some pearly teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Woo-wee. So I said, well, they're not terribly expensive. He goes, well, when you only get $1,000 a year for the cost of these pets, these officers, basically, $200-300 for a blow dryer is just kind of out of the realm. So one thing that Chris and I did, or what we have been doing in the past, it was photo fundraisers. We've raised over $100 for Pikal, and we raised over $50 to help out a customer of ours that was in need of boarding relief because she had to leave her dogs there for so long. So all together with the photo fundraisers that we've been doing last year, we came up with $150, and we only did them for a few months. But we're going to do it again. We are going to do another set of photo fundraisers, $10 packages, and the full $10 of that package will go to raising funds for the Rolla Police Department K-9 unit for a blow dryer, to get one of these really nice high velocity blow dryers to help with their shedding that they can do on their own when they don't have enough time to take it to the groomer, or maybe not even have the funds for it or whatnot. Whatever the reason may be, we are going to get it together, start doing the photo fundraiser. I already got okay through Keith, which obviously he would have said yes any way you look at it, and see how much we can raise, how quickly we can raise some money, because I would also like to give him a little small proportioner system, but that's a couple grand. So I really, 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 really want to raise up enough money to get him a good blow dryer that Rocko was able to have and Chaos is able to use too, that they can do it themselves.
Right. I'm surprised you actually mentioned that on here.
Well, I'm revealing it now.
Okay.
All I gotta do is just get a few things set up at work, and we can start doing it as soon as possible.
Yeah, we have St. Patrick's Day coming up. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people actually do unique things during our St. Patrick's Day programs. And then we have summer coming up. We have a lot of things. But if we usually have a great deal we have spring break as well.
All I need to get is the fabric and the props for it. And we have our St. Patty's Day theme.
We are not a production type of people. Obviously not. Not at all.
But this is what we're doing. You heard it here first. I haven't even mentioned on Shadowwood's Facebook page just yet. I'll mention it Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, depending on if we can get out of here tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're under snow!
Well, I gotta get some fabric and stuff like that too. But they're going to be $10 photo packages, and what we'll do is that we'll take really cool pictures of your pup with a background, like a cloth backdrop, and some props. A really cool pictures, just snap a few with my HD phone or whatever you want to call it, the super megapixels.
Yep. Email
them, text them, put them up on Facebook, and every ounce of that donation will go straight to them.
Cool. And that really won't take too long.
Well, if it's $10,
it'll be 20. 20 to 30.
Get 2-3 people a day.
Yeah.
And for 5 days a week, I mean, we can get that blow dryer in a month.
Yeah, we could. We really could. All right. Well, is there anything else that we want to actually mention? I mean, thank you, Rocko, for coming in. You actually made my entire grooming time that I've been doing this. You actually love every dog that comes in. It's just, ever since we did episode 16, I've just always been drawn to Rocko. I always think that what the police department do on a daily basis is just crazy. I mean,
yeah, thank you for Rocko's 4.5 year service and still going strong, and Officer Gray, who handles him very well, and then can't forget about Chaos and Officer Campbell.
Yep.
Can't forget about them either. I mean, they are here to help.
They are some cool cats, and there's just no way around it. I am definitely not cool, so I have no place to stand in their company, but they are awesome people. I was intimidated by Officer Gray last year. He's a big guy. I'm a big guy, but he's a buff guy.
He's a big guy.
So I'm like, dude, you're cool, and I'm this guy who plays on a computer and does a podcast.
It's really nifty to see this, basically come full circle where we got to interview Officer Gray, and then we got to see Rocko in his natural environment training, and saw all these different things I didn't expect to see.
Yeah,
I thought we were just going to go in there for the interview, and that was it. It was a stretch for even to meet Rocko.
Yeah, the whole
That's
process.
how I felt.
Yeah, the whole process was awesome.
And then here we are. You were able to bathe them and de-shed them, and I was able to brush them out and play with them, do some nails. I got to do a few things with them too. It was just a really cool thing. I mean, some people might think, oh, well, whatever, it's just another dog. Not another dog to us. Not another set of family either.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I take everyone that we have come into the shop. I mean, I love so many of our dogs that come in. And I'm always happy to see a lot of different dogs come in that I don't get to see often. I love to see Zega. And look at Zega takes forever. And I still love Zega. It doesn't matter if you're a dog that takes 5 minutes to go through or an hour and a half. It's a lot of fun. But, this week we were able to have Rocko come in. That was amazing. To be able to interact like that, just I quit. I guess this is it. This is where I'm done now. This is my resignation. I will no longer do it. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, is that all for us?
I think that's all from my angle. I think we got everything pretty covered. We praised him up and down, left and right.
Well, he's worth it. Definitely worth it. Thank you, Officer Gray, for getting in contact with me. I'm so glad.
Us.
Yeah. Thank you for actually putting your faith in letting your partner actually come and see us. I mean, that alone, that's everything. You actually let your partner come and see us. That is the biggest honor I could ever ask for.
And it was great. I put up on Shadowwood's Facebook page and saying thank you for their service. And oh man, that was a great turnout. There was a lot of people that were saying thank you so much and liking the posts and such. So hopefully you're still enjoying a nice clean dog. It's been snowy.
It's been snowy. It's been crazy. I don't know. He might have been working.
Just don't tell me he jumped in mud right after. That would kill me. I'm sure that would kill you even more.
A little bit. Just a little bit. All right, everybody. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this week's video podcast. And if you haven't caught episode 68, it's on YouTube and it's on iTunes. And have a fantastic week.
I'm Sarah Green. Make sure everybody realizes life is short. Play with your pet.
Bye-bye, everybody.